or arms. And you know why? It's a simple answer. Today, Belgrade is good for drugs. You can buy drugs in Belgrade. Why? Because people have money. If people don't have money, there's no product. There's no point bringing in, tons of cocaine or heroin or marijuana if you can't pay for it, if you can't sell it. So that's why, it was absolutely vitally important there. We didn't need any arms. You had Zastava. We had an arms factory in Serbia. You didn't need any arms. You didn't need anything. So we did not get involved. And people who say that are liars, and they have to, come and tell me to my face, because I was there present in the hierarchy of the 5 people that counted in this country, that ran this country.
Da li možete da nam kažete nešto, pošto ste pominjali banke, o Dafini Milanović i Jezdimiru Vasiljeviću? Da li je to bila državna pljačka pod pokroviteljstvom Miloševića?
Absolutely not true. These are 2 thieves, and I knew them as soon as I met Vasiljević, who didn't have a proper suit. He had dirt on his shoes and that. And I thought, this is the Bank of Jugoskandik, wasn't it? That crap, yeah. And he said to me, Giovanni, would you like to invest? I said, I don't think so. I said, I will pass on. He said, but they're good opportunities. And I said, well, I welcome your opportunities, but they're not for me. My wife's family did put money into Dafina Bank and that there, because like everybody else, they believed in the media. People of that generation. I'm a little more skeptical. But can I just tell you one thing for certain? We never lost any money with Dafina, nor did Arkan, and nor did my wife's family. And that we made sure of. Now, as far as the others, I don't know, but there was nothing to do with Milosevic. Did not profit from either of those 2 banks' inevitable collapse. Where I think that they made a mistake is the Narodna Banka Yugoslavia, giving them a license for banking that. But then they would give out licenses to anyone at that time there, Inex. I mean, there's loads of banks that fell there. And that's the mistake that Milosevic, because at the end of the day, the president carries the can. He may not be responsible. It may be his Minister of Economics Affairs, or it may be the governor of the Narodna Bank. But the moment that Dragoslav Avramovic came in, I was one of his councillors. All that stopped. All that stopped instantly. The moment we went 1-to-1, 1 dinar, 1 mark, that's the first thing. So the answer to your question is nothing to do with Milosevic. That, I'm sorry to say to people who want to believe crap.
Radovan Karadžić i Ratko Mladić su takođe obeležili to vreme i njihovi i sukobi međusobni i sa Miloševićem. Vi ste ih poznavali.
Not just with Milosevic, it was more with Arkan. Mladić, now this is what Željko told me. He said, look at this idiot. He said he leaves the troops behind, he leaves the tanks behind, he leaves arms behind because he has to pull his troops out and doesn't destroy them. He said, what idiot does that? And there were clashes between Željko and Ratko Mladić. Now, Karadžić, I want to make this appeal, use this program if you allow me. I am very happy and willing to make an application to the United Kingdom for Karadžić for a compassionate release. I know his daughter has tried with different sources, but I'm probably the best bet, there. I believe that Karadžić needs to die in his own country. He should not die in a prison, in the Isle of Wight in the United Kingdom. And I am ready, willing and able, to make that application on behalf of the family to Shabnam Mahmood, who is the Minister of Justice and who I know quite well, for his compassionate release. I am not prepared to do that for Mladić. I'm sorry to say.
U čemu je razlika?
Well, the difference is that one is a politician, the other one is a military, and the military person should know better when he's, that there. I do feel for Ratko there as well, but I'm not prepared to make that application on compassionate release. I am prepared, ready, willing and able, even this afternoon, to do that if I'm asked. So you can give my telephone number, please, to the daughter of Radko, Karadzic. I know he lived in Yuri Gagarina, where my wife has her, her home as well there. So all that time he was there. And that's another mistake, to surrender him. But there it is, You can't be... There's an old saying, Alexander, when you chase two rabbits, you catch neither.
Ima i priča da je Arkan, čak smo čuli to i ovde, da je Arkan bio u toliko velikom sukobu i netrpeljivosti sa Mladićem, jer je njega Mladić izbacio iz Republike Srpske, da se čak govori da Arkan ima veze sa smrću kćerke Mladića ovde u Beogradu.
No, that is not true. That is absolutely, Arkan is not a killer. We don't kill civilians. That's he's not a gangster. People think that Željko was a gangster or a criminal. No, not at all. He was a businessman. Just mess with his money and you have a problem. But that, as I said before earlier, that applies to everybody. It applies to you even. If I touch your money, you're not going to let me just come and steal it. But you're not going to kill me for nothing. You're not completely insane. So that is not true. Absolutely 100% not true.
Da li ste bili na venčanju Arkana i Cece?
I paid for the wedding of Željko. I also paid for the haljina, the dress of that. And I'm proud to say that. He's my friend. Why would I not pay for his wedding? He never even asked me. I volunteered. I offered. I said, I'll pay for it. I didn't quite understand how big it would be, but I paid for it willingly and with love.
Koliko je to bilo para?
Oh, I can't remember. It wasn't in the millions, unless you're looking at dinars. But, it doesn't matter. It was done with affection, respect and love, and good wishes.
I vaše venčanje je isto bilo spektakl.
Well, yes, but I paid for that. That wasn't paid for by Željko. He gave a good gift. We remember one of the most important things, of my wedding in Italy was that for the first time Yugoslav Airlines was allowed to fly from Belgrade to Rome. I got permission from the minister and from the prime minister at the time.
Romano problem.
Yeah, we didn't always see eye to eye, but things I know about him and his family. Remember, his children were in London. He studied at the London School of Economics there, so his English was perfect. But I know a lot about him, a lot of silly things that he did with Annie when he was there. So shall we say that I earned the right for the sanctions to be suspended for that day, for the flights to bring people to Italy. And I'm proud of that. Very proud of that. There's nothing I will not do for my country, and my country is Italy and Serbia. I have a Serbian citizenship, and incidentally, if President Vučić is listening to this, I want my passport back because, there's been some issues regarding my passport. I can't find my old one. We've moved, different that. They know that I am a Serbian citizenship, but they're now creating so many loopholes, the usual administrative nonsense. So if Alexander, you're listening to this, make sure I get my passport back, please. We don't want to fall out over that because I am a Serbian citizen and I'm a true citizen because I'm loyal to this country and to my country. And when there is a conflict of interest, I represent neither.
Ko je bio među svatovima na vašem venčanju u Italiji? Ko je sve došao iz Srbije da prisustvuje venčanju?
Well, there were some ministers, ministers. There was some family of some fairly important people. The Srpska Dobrovoljska Garda came to protect me there. There was representatives from Željko as well that came. Obviously, he couldn't travel. They thought he was going to come, but that's just crazy. It was never going to happen. So we did have, at the same time, I think it was Stephanie of Monaco that married, but me and Mirjana made the front pages. So, and it was an important thing for me. A marriage is a contract, a legal contract, and it's a sign to the world that two people, are there together. Now, it doesn't have to be forever. As it happens, it's 30 years now that we, that we are. I'm not the best husband. I'm certainly not the best father, but I am, a good friend. I'm a loyal person. I do the very best I can. I have so many different interests. We have 5 children that it's very difficult to be able to apportion time to each one. So that's where sometimes that, but I openly admit I am not, the best of husbands, because I'm rarely present. And unless you have a strong woman with you, you are nothing. The hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world.
Da li ste, u svim tim, kažemo, godinama provedenim u Srbiji, razmišljali možda zašto se sve to dešava srpskom narodu?
Yes, but you can't live in the past. We have a fantastic future. This is Serbia, the future of Serbia. Look, no one's got any money, but the restaurants are full. You can't get a booking. The cafes are full. The theatres are full. The cinemas are full. Shops are full. Supermarkets have got all goods from all over the place and, can't bring enough for people to buy. Airlines, you can't book a ticket to flight. Must be great. The average wage is 600 euros. Mortgage rate here is 20% of people that have mortgages instead of 80% in Europe. That's going to change. And that will change when SEPA is introduced, when the banks really become banks instead of bankier, instead of, market traders. Banks need to become banks. They need to start lending money to people. They need to stop being stupid. That's the most important thing that I would urge the governor, the lady governor, the Narodna Banka of Serbia. Start making the banks lend part of their capital to the average everyday person. It doesn't matter, whether you want a 3,000 euro credit, 10,000, 100,000. They have to be more amenable. They have to be able to come front to front with the people. Cards need to be issued. Credit cards need to be issued, not debit cards, because debit card you're using your own money. Anyone can do that. Don't need a bank for that there. Did you know you can even have your own credit card? Make your own brand. You can have BALKAN INFO credit card. Debit card. Credit card, no, because you're giving credit. So that's what needs to happen, and quick. No messing around. Schools. One of the things I found is that to get into a school now, it's all centralized at the Ministry of Education, which means that the directors of certain schools have no more say in what pupils they take. So, for example, a top gymnasium in Paris Comuna, which is one of the top gymnasiums, has no longer any say in who they take. The ministry decides they're going to send you those people there. That has to stop. That has to change. That has to instantly. You need to give the headmasters, the directors of each school, the independence of choosing at least some of their own pupils to maintain the grade, to maintain the standards. These are important factors there. And remember, education is the most important thing in a country. If you have no education, do you want an idiot operating on you when you are 60 years of age for prostate cancer?